Yeah, of course.
Awesome.
What's your YouTube channel?
It's called Large Kofi.
Large Kofi?
Yeah, so I compete.
So guys, come closer. Check out this guy here. Large Kofi here at the Boston Pro Show.
Thank you.
Yeah, he's killing the awesome content stuff out there, and hopefully you're gonna watch every video and we grow this awesome classic physique community.
I appreciate that. Nice to meet you, man.
Thank you, brother.
Hey, Large Kofi here, and the 2022 Boston Pro Show is over, and I would love to recap what happened. So I did attend the show myself, and I have to say it was set up very, very well. I love the way the organizers put together the stage, the aesthetics, the lighting. Everything was really on point. Other than waiting, everything went smoothly, everything went perfect, and really waiting is just a nitpick because every event you're going to have to wait. Now, before I get into any placings, I do want to mention certain surprises in terms of the competitor list that we had. I did mention in my last video that the competitor list wasn't completely accurate, and we saw that the day of the show when a couple competitors that I thought were competing were not there. But there are also some competitors that a lot of us didn't even know were competing that just kind of threw their hat in the race at the last second, which was a pretty nice surprise, and I'll be getting into them later. Now, let's get into some placings. So the first category that went up was fitness. And from the jump, it was Missy Trescott and Jacqueline Baker. I think they were my 1 and 2 heading into the show. And in the prejudging, it was very clear that the judges had them 1 and 2. Their conditioning, the separation, the detail that they had was definitely above the other competitors. They were very clearly battling it out for 1 and 2 in a pretty tight race, but Missy definitely had the edge going into finals. And in terms of the routines, Jacqueline brought a great routine. It looked good, but Missy kind of took it to another level. She brought some props out. She was in that blue outfit, and all in all, was really, really solid. So in terms of fitness, Missy definitely brought it. I had her winning the fitness division, and she did just that in the finals. I think it was close between her and Jacqueline, but Missy did edge her out. So congratulations, Missy Trescott. Now, in the men's physique division, we had reigning Arnold Classic champion Aaron Banks coming to this Boston Pro Show and going back to back, getting some tremendous momentum for the Olympia. In the prejudging, he looked excellent. He looked great. His conditioning was really, really crispy. Seeing that in person just put not just him, but the rest of the athletes in a completely different perspective for me. So in the prejudging, it was pretty clear that he was the favorite. The judges had him right in the middle with Diago, and Diago ended up taking second place. Emmanuel Hunter, my second place prediction, did not come in as sharp as he was last week. He looked decent, but not nearly as crisp as he was last week. And really the only area he fell short was just conditioning. That's it. It just wasn't where it was last week. And Joshua Guidry came in and looked incredible. And I think he definitely stepped right over Emmanuel in the prejudging. It was pretty clear. He's a very nice men's physique package overall. Just you look at him and he really embodies men's physique. But what he brought just wasn't enough to take down Aaron. And I think these placings were definitely fair. Diago looked amazing. Just the detail that he has in his back, the width of his shoulders and his lats, just nutty. So I love these placings. I think Aaron Banks is going to be in the mix for that Olympia title this year. I think this might be his year in men's physique. We'll have to see how Brandon Hendrickson responds to that. Brandon is a true competitor, but I can't wait to see those two guys battle out. At least for me, this makes men's physique a lot more exciting because I just love, regardless of the division, I love seeing competitors come in and really push for that number one. So we see a lot more competition, and we can expect a lot from Diago as well this year. And I'm excited to see the improvements that Emmanuel Hunter makes after kind of falling in placing. So, men's physique, all in all, very, very good battle there. Now, in the classic physique division, so earlier I did mention that there were some competitors that we didn't expect to compete. And my 2 and 3, Divine Wilson and Kareem Abdul-Amari, the guys who I thought would take second and third, didn't even end up competing at the show, which was kind of a surprise to me. But to combat that, we had a pretty good 2 and 3 in Tony Duong and Andrew Wilson. So Tony Duong really stuck out to me in the prejudging. Being a shorter competitor, a lot of those guys were towering over him, but it was really, really clear that he brought the conditioning. He brought the separation. He had a very wide back, and he was projecting very, very well. All in all, he was very complete from top to bottom, and it was pretty clear standing next to those guys. They had him and Urs do a call out just by themselves, and he was holding his own. Urs, I think, ran away with it in the prejudging. I said that he was gonna dominate, and he did exactly that. He came in and he dominated those boys. There was nobody in the lineup that was really challenging him. Tony again did well. He held his own. He looked great. But this was Urs' show to lose, and he didn't lose it. He won it right in the prejudging, and he did a fantastic job. Presentation was always on point, and at least from my perspective, seeing him pose in person, very, very different. I mean, you know, you could see the discrepancy in presentation between him and the other guys. You know, there's great classic posers, and then there's like artists, and Urs is really an artist. Not to take anything away from those other guys, they look great, but man, you can clearly tell why he's one of the hottest up-and-comers in the classic physique division. Not to mention, he's a really, really nice guy. You know, after prejudging, he had a line of fans waiting to meet him, and he was hugging every single one, just kind of expressing his gratitude for the support. And, you know, I had a nice conversation with him as well. He's a really nice, easygoing guy, and, you know, understanding how stressful a prep can be, to still have a smile on your face, walking through the lobby, giving people fist bumps, I think was really nice to see from a guy who's at that caliber. You know, to me, it seems like he's not fully aware of how big he really is. You know, he's still, you know, not just in stature, but I mean, in his status as one of the hottest guys coming up in classic. And, you know, I said in the video I made about him, he is the future of classic physique. So is Ramon Dino. You know, those guys are going to be in the mix, and they just keep getting bigger and bigger. And this is the exact momentum that Urs needed going into the Olympia. I know he really wants to improve. And getting this win out of the way, a pretty big win in the IFBB, you know, this is going to give him some time to really work on what he needs to work on in the offseason and really attack that Olympia prep and bring a much improved package. So congratulations, Urs Kalecinski. Now, next up is the figure division, and I did not have a prediction for this division because honestly, I didn't know any of the females competing. But the winner, Lola Montez, was diced. I would say she probably brought arguably the best conditioning in the entire competition, if not maybe second or third, because she was shredded, peeled. When she stepped out, everybody was like, wow, because you could clearly see she was diced from head to toe. And my god, it was a sight to behold. And even looking up at the big screen, you could tell that her conditioning was just head and shoulders above the competition. So imagine me glancing down at her on stage. I mean, that screen, despite how well it showed off how crisp she was, it still didn't do her justice. So congratulations, Lola Montez. Fantastic package, fantastic win. You deserved it. Now in the bikini division, we had a surprise competitor in Elisa Bikini. She came in, I didn't know she was competing, and that was a very, very nice surprise to see. She brought a great package. You know, she always brings that slim waist, pretty good from head to toe. She's a former Olympia champion, so you know, she brought it. But my front runner to win this competition, who I mentioned in my preview video, was clearly the favorite, Maureen Blanquisco. She ended up winning. You know, again, similar to Urs Kalecinski, this was her show to lose, and she did not lose it. She came top to bottom, very complete. You know, she had probably the roundest glutes in that division, and you know, bikini isn't really known for glutes, but it is nice to see that she had them and they were definitely a lot rounder than the rest of the competition. Her conditioning was on point, presentation was on point, everything about her just kind of oozes bikini, and she did her thing. She killed it. Ellie Fernandez came in third place, and she also brought a great package. They're moving these girls around, getting different looks. Elisa was in the middle at one point, Ellie was in the middle at one point, but you know, we kind of knew even from prejudging, you know, this was Maureen Blanquisco all day. Great package in prejudging, came back from the finals even better, and you know, she took home that bikini crown, so she deserved it. Congratulations, Maureen. In the wellness division, my front runner and prediction to win, Yurishna Ayala, ended up taking first place. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't worried after the prejudging, because Angela Borges came out and she looked like just jaw-dropping. I mean, her glutes were insane, her hams were insane, her quads were insane. I mean, her lower body was just, in terms of mass, very, very dominant, very imposing, and she had separation. So just seeing her do her walk, it was, you know, she caught everybody's attention. You could just see how big she was. Like nobody else besides Yurishna really had that awe factor when they stepped out on stage, and I genuinely thought that Angela was going to be the front runner going to the finals. I did have Yorishina winning the show going into the show. After prejudging, after seeing Angela come out, after seeing the two of them get compared, just the two of them, I thought Angela was beating her because I thought they had the same separation in the abs, very similar conditioning, same streamlined waist, but I thought Angela was beating her in the lower body department. I really did. Again, I'm not a wellness expert. Take everything I'm saying about this division with a grain of salt. You know, I don't know anything compared to, you know, most people, but this is my very uneducated analysis. I thought Angela had bigger, rounder, fuller glutes and same separation of the lower body. So maybe the judges thought her lower body was just a little too overpowering, but that is me speculating. I am happy for Yorishina Ayala. She did bring a great package. She was great head to toe. I just think after the prejudging and even in the finals, Angela was really pushing her to the point where I thought Angela was actually going to take it. I thought she was going to beat Yorishina, but she did not. The judges went another way. I still think Yorishina deserved it because she brought a great package. So good for her. It's going to give her all the momentum she needs going into Olympia. And in terms of Angela Borges, she is without a doubt going to dominate the next show she competes in. She's so good when you see her on stage, and she was pushing Yorishina hard, very, very hard. So, you know, in terms of the rest of the lineup, they weren't really competing with Angela. So, you know, she's probably going to be the front runner at her next competition, and I would love to see her win one heading into the Olympia. And it's definitely going to happen sooner than later. And last but certainly not least, we have William Bonak winning the open bodybuilding division. He came, he saw, and he really conquered here. That's why they call him the Conqueror. William did amazing. He brought the same conditioning that he brought last week. I wouldn't say that it was better, but it was just about the same. And he did enough during the prejudging to hold the lead. I would say it was a slight lead though, because a surprise for me was Justin Rodriguez. Now, I said previously that I could see Justin placing high at this competition if he brought conditioning, and he brought the conditioning. He was significantly improved from the Arnold Classic. He came out and it was just, oh my god, holy veins, holy muscle maturity, holy separation, holy striations. I don't think I've ever seen that many striations in somebody's back before. I mean, Justin looked unreal. Justin Rodriguez was so good that people in the audience and even the commentators were wondering if he had a chance at beating Bonak, and I think it was very, very close in the prejudging. Bonak probably had that slight edge, but Justin's conditioning was incredible, and he had that separation in his abs. You know, I've always thought Justin's biggest issue was his ab conditioning, and if he just came in conditioned and brought that separation, I mean, it's gonna be tough to beat him. And he brought exactly that. So Justin Rodriguez with separated abs, I mean, that's hard to beat. Not to mention that glute hamstring tie-in, the separation between the hams from those side shots. He was arguably beating Bonak in those side shots in the lower body in terms of detail and separation. So, you know, Justin did his thing. He definitely earned second place. It was close enough that you were even wondering if he can pull off the upset. That's how much he pushed Bonak. But, you know, he was definitely a surprise package for me. I knew he looked really good, but I didn't think he looked that good. So good job, Justin Rodriguez. Steve Kuklo ended up taking third place, and he was also much improved from the Arnold. As a matter of fact, the entire lineup, the entire top five was much improved from the Arnold Classic. And I think the reason why Steve ended up placing third here was because Justin was so much more improved than he was. So I think that was a fair placing. Steve in third, I'm okay with that. I think he did bring the third best physique to that competition. And in fourth place, we had Samson Dauda, who looked very, very good. His only issue was just kind of getting out muscled by some of those guys. The commentators did note that, you know, Samson's pretty complete, and I agree with that. He does have everything you want in an open bodybuilder. There just needs to be more of him, and that'll just come with time because he is a younger guy. One of those young guys to really look out for. You know, people talk about Nick Walker and Hunter Labrada, but Samson's been slowly lurking in the shadows, putting in work, getting better and better. So we can expect to see him get better. I mean, he has an amazing structure, amazing physique, and I can't wait to see what he does in the future. I definitely agree with this fourth place placing here. Now, one surprise that I want to talk about is Max Charles. So Max in my Arnold recap video, I mentioned did not bring a great package. He was kind of disappointing at the Arnold. And he did not disappoint at this Boston Pro Show. Max was significantly improved in that prejudging for the Boston Pro, but then he came back in the finals and he was diced. I'm talking his 2020 Arnold package. If you remember that 2020 Arnold package, everybody was talking about it. Everybody in the industry was talking about how shredded Max Charles was. And not only did he bring a similar package to that year, he brought bigger legs too. So Max looked amazing in the finals. He was so dry, so crispy, so grainy. He really embodied muscle maturity, that deep detail, just hard muscle, and he looked fantastic. That was a very nice surprise. He wasn't a guy who was even in this competitor list, so when I saw him walk out during prejudging, I was like, oh shit, Max Charles, wow. But he came into this show, he did fantastic, and he ended up taking 5th place, and I love that placing for Max. For the rest of our lineup, in 6th place we had Phil Klahar, 7th place Regan Grimes, 8th place Nathan Spear, 9th place Douglas Frushi, 10th place Islam Mohammed, and 11th place Justin Mackey, who I'm going to be talking about in just a second. Now, I'm going to be getting into some very random superlatives that I decided to come up with. So, first superlative, we have most shredded quads, which is going to go to Lola Montez. She was just diced in the quad department, just unreal. You had those cross striations, just the detail was crazy, so she's going to get that for me. Next up, best glutes goes to Douglas Frucci. His glutes were so striated, so crispy, like everyone noticed. The commentators couldn't stop talking about it. I mean, his glutes were unreal from the back, so that's going to go to him. Best posing, I'm going to go ahead and give that to William Bonak, to be honest with you. His finals posing routine was incredible. You know, a lot of open guys get a stigma for not being great at posing, but I think that's starting to change for the better, and Bonak just displayed why that's changing, and he's always been one of the more aesthetic posers in the IFBB, and he brought it. He got the crowd going, and he did his thing, so that's going to go to him. Most improved from their last competition, this is an easy one, right? Max Charles. I could have gone Justin Rodriguez here, but I think Max going from 9th place to 5th and bringing just unreal conditioning, the difference just from prejudging to finals, just the difference of those couple hours were just incredible. Max definitely deserves most improved bodybuilder from their last competition. Next up, I have best potential, and that's going to go to Justin Mackey. He looked great here. Besides holding a little bit of water, his conditioning not being the best, he was so complete from head to toe. Very proportionate, nice midsection, kept everything nice and tight, nice separation of the quads. He's got some quads, man. And he was complete from top to bottom, man. The dude finished in last place, but he does not look like a last place bodybuilder. He's a young guy, and he's got a lot of time to improve. But man, he's got so much potential. The judges, I think, didn't give him enough looks, and I think that's going to change in the future. But Justin Mackey shocked me at how impressive he looked. Didn't know who he was heading into the show, but now I know now. He is without a doubt somebody to look out for in the IFBB, because this dude's coming, and when he improves, it's going to be scary. And finally, best overall moment is going to go to William Bonac's victory speech. William gave a very touching, very heartwarming speech after he won, where he got emotional. He talked about how he wanted to quit. He wanted to quit bodybuilding. A lot of us didn't know that. You know, last year we knew William wasn't the best version of himself. He had a lot of obstacles that were going against him heading into that Olympia, and he didn't bring his best package, and everybody was writing him off. And he got to work. You know, he heard the criticism. You know, he was in his deepest, darkest moment, and you know, the people around him helped lift him up, and he came back as the conqueror. Probably the best package we've ever seen William bring. Much improved, and he's got so much time to get better for the Olympia, and this is just the momentum that he needs. And hearing that was just so inspiring, so motivational, and you know, you just can't help but to be really happy for William Bonak. So, you know, all in all, he's had the best moment of the night. And yeah, that is it for my Boston Pro recap. All of my predictions for my winners panned out. The rest of my placings, not so much. We had a couple wild cards in there. But yeah, this was a fantastic show. I love the way it was organized. I agree with most of the judging decisions here. It was a great experience being there, getting to meet some of the pros. I got to meet Ronnie Coleman himself, Flex Wheeler, Phil Heath, Jay Cutler. I got to chop it up with Urs, Victor Martinez, Brandon Curry. I saw so many people there, you know. Brandon was just chilling in the VIP lounge, just cooling, having a conversation with fans. So, you know, this is a Mr. Olympia here. You know, he's not too big to just chill with the fans, and that was just really, really nice to see from Brandon. But, you know, great competition. So glad I went. I'm never going to forget that experience. Can't wait to go to the next one. And Phil Heath even let me give him a quick little interview, which he didn't have to do at all. And he even wished me luck on my YouTube journey, so that meant the world to me. If you watched this video to the end, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, consider giving it a like. If you want to see more content like this, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you know when I drop next. The Boston Pro is absolutely lit, a great competition, and all these athletes did an amazing job. And watching them compete just gave me a better appreciation for the work, the time that they put in at the highest level. So good job to all these athletes. I'm Large Kofi. Thank you so much for watching.